Hello, YouTube. Reseller Mom here. Welcome to today's show. Today, I have a very exciting, awesome show where I get to talk again with Josh from Vendoo, and he has brought on Alejandra as well to discuss their platform. And what they do is a cross-posting platform that I have been using for years. I had the pleasure of meeting Josh back in, we were just talking, I think it was in December of 2017 at a reseller holiday party, which was fun, and they have been growing ever since and adding to their platform. So welcome to my channel, you two. I'm going to go ahead and let each of them start off. Maybe Josh go first and then Alejandra, and give a bit of your background, how things are going, anything you want to talk about.
Awesome. So yeah, first and foremost, thanks for having us. We're really excited to be here on your channel. And you're absolutely right. We met in December 2017. That was in Portland, Oregon. At that time, our founders were just flying around the country, literally meeting resellers wherever they were. We were going to events. We went to an event in Chicago, a resellers rally, and then we went to that event in Portland, and we went to some other events in different cities. And we were just trying to get feedback about the product that we were trying to build. And we wanted to make sure that it was something that resellers identified with and used and fit into their daily lives. And we needed to just talk to people and kind of understand what the need was and what problems they were having at that time. So that we kind of met you along that path, I think, at the very early stages of this company. But since then, we've grown from 4 to now 17 team members.
Wow.
We launched we launched a beta version, I believe, in June 2019. A little bit after that, we were able to launch publicly for paid usage in January of this year. So we're almost wrapping up 1 full year of being up and running. And we've been growing consistently. We started with 3 marketplaces that we can cross-post to, and now we have 8. So that's a little bit about where the company's gone since we initially met you. My story personally, I'm from the Washington, D.C. area. I was a full-time reseller for like over 10 years. I was selling fairly large quantities. I would say, full-time, I was selling hundreds to low thousands of items per month. And I was trying to do all of these things that resellers have to do, manage my business, juggle my items on all these platforms, keep my inventory organized. I had all of these problems that I was experiencing. And I met one of our co-founders, our CEO actually, and he was explaining to me how he was building something for people that had these same problems I was having. So we kind of embarked on that journey together a few years ago. Brought in more people along the way and put out this software that people have really been enjoying.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So over the past few months, I just wanted to introduce Alejandra also.
Yes.
Over the past few months, we brought in some really, really good people to help grow and expand our team. Alejandra being one of our favorites. She's amazing with marketing and everything that she does. So she's been really helpful with us as far as just the exposure and making the vision bigger for what we've already built. So this is Alejandra. I'll give her a second to introduce herself, and then, sorry, we can jump back to your question.
Oh, no.
Awesome. Okay. Nice to meet everyone. And thank you so much, Lucy, for having us here. It's really, I'm really happy to be here. This is actually my first YouTube live. As Josh mentioned, and I joined Vendoo about 5 months ago, I would say, and I'm getting acquainted with the entire reselling community, with all the marketplaces. I currently live in Colombia, and sadly, there aren't a lot of resellers here. And I think this is it's an amazing business, and it's a really good purpose that like everyone here has. So hopefully, we'll get some resellers here too, and this business and this community is going to start growing here in Colombia as well. So yeah, as Josh mentioned, I'm part of the marketing team. And yeah, that's it.
Nice. Yes, you guys were probably one of the first cross-posting, if not the first cross-posting platform on the internet that was just so amazing to be able to have that ability to do that, because it is definitely made a difference in a lot of people's business. I've heard a lot of good things, and I do love, I gotta say, Josh, your little bits when you're at the store doing things I've seen you guys do on Instagram. So let me tell people here where to find you all. First, most of the links are all down below if you were looking to sign up for them or want these links. They should be down in the description. Hello, Eric, and hello, Heather. Thank you for joining us. So this is their current website, which it will give you an overview. You can get started for free. You can watch a video. You can see about their pricing, their marketplaces. We'll come back to that in just a minute. If you'd like to follow them on Instagram, their Instagram link is right here. And they also have the link tree set up that will direct you to their website and their YouTube channel as well. And then oftentimes they have great little postings and things about reselling. So I do like to watch your posts as well. It always comes across my feed and I enjoy that. Hello, Mariana. How are you? This is their YouTube site. So if you are looking to get some insight on how to use this, or if this platform is for you and how it can help you out, they've got plenty of videos up. So go ahead and subscribe to that so that you can check them out and look at that. So I wanted them to talk a little bit about the marketplaces that they offer, because I have seen them grow over the years, and they started with 3, and now I log in and I don't even know what half of this stuff is. I feel so old. Because I'm not familiar with Grailed and Tradesy and Kidson. So if you want to go ahead and talk about the platforms for a minute, I'd love to hear about that.
Sure. So when we initially started, a lot of the resellers that we met and spoke to were selling on Poshmark. So I think Poshmark was probably our main marketplace that we started with and kind of built around that. So we started with Poshmark, eBay, and Etsy. Those were our first 3 marketplaces. We allowed users to cross-post to those. And then shortly after those, we added Mercari, which I'm sure most of you are familiar with. Mm-hmm. Recently, a few months ago, we added Grailed, which is a menswear marketplace, mainly for like men's designer clothing, streetwear, high sought after streetwear, like collectible sneakers and things like that. It's Grailed. And then we added Depop as well, which a lot of you are familiar with. And then most recently, about a month ago, we added Tradesy, which is women's. It's a all women's marketplace, mainly for designer items. And we added Kidizen, which is a marketplace that specializes in kids' clothing and women's clothing.
Wow, neat. I have been looking for a men's site, so I'm glad you brought that up, because I do have some men's clothes. And I feel like a lot of the reselling is geared towards women's clothes, and the men just don't have a good place.
Yeah, Grab is a great marketplace for that.
So in terms of reselling, in the last year, I'm sure with COVID hitting, you guys have seen a huge growth and opportunity with online sales and stuff. How has growth been for you guys this year, and how have you handled COVID and anything like that? This has been a crazy year.
So yeah, I would say at the beginning of the year, kind of when COVID first started and we first got locked down and everybody didn't know how long we were going to be in the house for, there was kind of a collective panic just across the industry of, well, I source my items at thrift stores and there's no stores open. So there was just a lot of uncertainty about how people would be able to maintain and carry their businesses for the foreseeable future until the world opened back up. But what we saw was actually, from a shopping perspective, people were buying more items than ever before because they were at home. So because people were buying so many items, everyone that thought that they would potentially lose sales or have a lot of dry months earlier this year saw that their sales were actually consistent or increasing, which was really surprising for us. So even in those months that we predicted that we would be slowed down a little bit, we still were growing in those months. And that kind of carried us because towards the summertime, once we added those new marketplaces, our growth took off a lot. But COVID surprisingly was okay. I think because reselling is an industry and a business that you can do from your house, you don't have to really be out and about to do it successfully. I think a lot of people were still able to be very productive during those months that everyone else was kind of stuck in and didn't have access to many resources. Reselling still kind of was able to weather that storm.
I think yeah, I've noticed that too, even though most of my stuff is more Amazon and new items, but even used items, I've also seen a lot of people get interested in this industry, a lot more interest because they are at home and they do need to make some extra money, especially during the holiday times. They're looking for different ways to make an extra buck and sell some of their stuff. I also think there's been a lot more interest in conservation and not sending your items to the landfill, which I definitely support. So I love recycling, both buying and selling from that standpoint.
Definitely. There's a lot of different things that happened around the same time that all kind of pushed people towards reselling. But there was like the huge Marie Kondo movement where she was encouraging people to like get things out of their house that they don't want. And now you all of a sudden you have a whole pile of things that you need to get rid of somehow. And reselling is an easy way to do that from your house. Then, like you said before, people are very environmentally conscious. So there's a lot of upcycling and recycling. So people, instead of just giving clothes away or throwing them away, they're putting them up on secondhand marketplaces to where they can have another lifespan. So a lot of these things were happening in the culture at the same time, and it is starting to make reselling just a lot more appealing source of secondary incomes, kind of like how Uber or Airbnb did a few years ago, or things like that, where people realize, oh, this is something that I can put a few hours into and actually have a profitable return.
Yes. The other thing that I love talking about and mentioning is there's a huge drive on Facebook and Pinterest to kind of reuse or be creative with things. And I've seen some really cool things where people have taken shirts and made quilts or ties, men's necktie, and make aprons out of it, memorabilia type of things, or just upcycled and reused. Anyhow, you get one of those trends going on Pinterest or Facebook, and then all of a sudden you see it on the reselling side. You're like, wait a minute, this stuff hasn't moved forever, and now all of a sudden it's in hot demand. And it's usually tied back to one of those other creative things that people have put out and marketed.
Exactly. There's a lot of stores on Etsy that specialize in things like that, just handmade or upcycled products that people just live on Etsy and sell those.
Yes. So back to, I wanted to go over pricing because a lot of people are looking at that, I'm sure. And one thing for me that I've always loved about your platform is that the pricing and the use, it is easy to use and it's priced competitively and it's done well. I've seen some of the other websites that do cross posting and whatnot, and they're usually more expensive or they have a lot of errors and things that need to be corrected in that. So if you want to go just through pricing here with us for a little bit for the viewers.
Sure. So I'll explain how our pricing model is set up. So we have 6 different tiers, depending on what size business you have, because we know that we're not all the same size reseller. There's some people that are just beginner level. So we even have a free 5-item a month tier where they can post 5 items each month, use all of the add-on features that we have just to kind of get familiar with the software and practice and see if there's something that they want to use full time. And then our first tier is what's shown on the screen right now is 25 items for $8.99. So when we have a number of items there, we refer to the number of items that we allow you to add to your Vendoo inventory every month. So you can either create those items in Vendoo, you can import them from existing marketplaces. They could be active listings that you already have on Poshmark or Mercari or Grailed or any of those sites. You can import them over and cross-post them, or you can duplicate items that you already have in your Vendoo inventory. But for this plan, you will be allowed up to 25 of those a month. So then we have the next plan, which is 125 items for $19.99. And then you can see there's a few successively larger plans after that, with the largest being 4,000 items, I believe. 4,000 items for $149. So those are our pricing, the actual pricing plan. But then we have add-ons as well, which are features that users can also pay for that can enhance their experience. So we have the importing, which I mentioned earlier, which allows you to bring over your existing items from a marketplace, items that you already have listed, so that you don't have to start over in Vendoo from the beginning and make all those items again. You can just import them. That process is really quick. It's just a few clicks and you can get your items over to your closet. We have a delist and relist feature, which is really cool. That's actually probably the most favorite feature of the current users that we have. That feature has a few different purposes. So what that does and what it mainly has been used for is, let's say, for example, you have an item that's been on Poshmark for 6 months and there's not much traffic on it and nobody's really interacting with that item. You can go on our Vendoo listing. You can press the delist button. It would take that item down from Poshmark, and then you can press the relist button and it'll create that item again as a brand new fresh listing that'll show up in the just in algorithm. and get some new life into that listing. So it's going to attract a lot of new viewers, new eyes, and it causes some of those old stale items to sell for you. So that's the first use of the delist and relist feature. And then the second use for it is, let's say, for an example, you have an item listed on 4 marketplaces and it sells. So let's say the item sold on eBay. You just go into Vendoo, you change the eBay status to sold, and then the delist relist feature will automatically remove that item from the other marketplaces for you. So those are the 2 uses of the delist relist feature. And then the last add-on currently is all marketplaces. So if you have that feature, you can list onto all 8 of the platforms. We'll be replacing that add-on soon with a different one, but we haven't announced yet what that feature will be.
Oh, okay.
So that's a surprise. That's a surprise.
It's a surprise.
Yeah.
So the delist is definitely a good one. I really, really like that. I did kind of want to just pick your brain real quick. Some of the drama on Poshmark has been with bots. What is your feeling with bots on Poshmark?
So Poshmark's bot policy is basically built around softwares that manipulate the user experience on that platform. Mm-hmm. So on Poshmark, a very popular feature, because it's a community-based interactive platform, is they want you to share other people's closets so that everybody can get exposure for their items. And there's been a lot of softwares created that can just rapidly share closets faster than a person can physically do it. And what that does is it gets your shares up so that you can eventually become an ambassador. So that's a bot, a program that manipulates their user experience. It's making their timeline move faster than it's supposed to move. They also have similar softwares that might go through people's closets and like all their items, which eventually would cause people to follow your page. You'll get more interaction on your page, but this is a machine that's doing these actions for you. So with Vendoo, the reason why our software is different is because the user is in control of every action. So we don't have any bulk. We don't have any bulk listing. You don't do something and then the computer does everything else for you. Every keystroke is controlled by the user, but we just shorten it and make the process a little bit easier and more manageable. So we're not doing anything to manipulate the user experience on Poshmark. You're still, if you post an item, you have to list it from Vendoo in order for it to list. The computer doesn't do anything for you. So we're not using any features that are going to manipulate or alter that experience.
I was trying to get your take on how you felt about others using bots or not, because that's one thing that stops me from using Poshmark is I don't have the time to share my closet. I mean, I probably do, but it's not really high on my priority. So I think I'm going to do it. It's kind of like a diet. I'm good for about a week and then it's life happens. So I like running a lot of my systems that I have with bots. I have a repricer on my Amazon. I'm familiar with those types of things. Right. And a lot of people will either get a bot or they'll get a VA to share their closet or whatever, somebody on Craigslist, or they'll hire out that sharing process, which again defeats the purpose of being the community and whatnot. And I don't know if Poshmark is ever going to be able to get around from people using that because it is such desired things. I feel like every time they put the hammer down, somebody will just come up with a clever plan to not get caught doing it.
Absolutely.
So I don't know. Do you think so or no?
So I think because the sharing process, like you said, is tedious, it's something that just takes a long time. Sharing other people's closets and liking other people's items takes away from the reason that people are the majority reason why people are really on Poshmark is to sell their own items. They probably would like to put that time into building up their own closet, boosting their own inventory and things like that, not as opposed to just doing manual time-consuming features. So I guess that's a need that people felt that they have. And as long as there's a need for something like that, people will always create softwares to manipulate it or to speed it up or make it easier. But Poshmark being a community-based marketplace, that's their goal, but that might not be every user's intention. So not every user might not be going to Poshmark to participate in the community. They might just be going there to build their own business and sell their own items.
The underlying reason that I bring it up and why it's so hot right now is both Wish and Poshmark are going to be available for stock purchases. They're going onto the market, I believe, in Q1 next year. And my husband was asking if we wanted to buy any stock in either Poshmark or Wish, and both I'm not very confident in their platforms, Wish, because it's crap from China. and it's a lot of the same users over and over and over. And it's just junk. And I don't feel like it's a very good, like it's going to be around in 10 years. And Poshmark, I said, because of this sharing reason and the bots and the constant fight with the bots, that I don't know if they're ever going to. I think people, if they let the bots happen, people are not going to want to be on the platform as much. But if they don't let the bots happen, you're not going to have as many sellers want to use the platform. So I'm not quite sure if it's a stock or if the company itself is going to be doing well enough to continue forward.
Yeah,
to compete with
that's,
eBay and Macari and stuff.
For Poshmark, that's a complicated issue.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they're trying to maintain the integrity of their website and what they've built, but also make the users happy at the same time. So I can't jump in without the context and try to solve that problem for them. But I do think that that's an issue that they definitely have to look into and figure out how to deal with, because what tends to happen is that the reseller community is going to move at its own pace, regardless of whether the marketplaces keep up or not. New softwares are going to continue to pop up. New marketplace competitors are going to continue to pop up. And if you don't adapt and adjust with the times, it might make it more difficult for you. But so, I mean, if I can't really say what I would do if I was in their shoes, because I'm not, but I think that they definitely need to figure out what stance they want to take sooner than later, just because things are going to keep progressing without them.
Yep. Now eBay doesn't have quite that problem, and I'm not sure how they're doing either. I believe since the time that we have met, I mean, it's been a couple of years, they fired the CEO last summer, or was it this
I believe
summer?
so. They had a shakeup in executives recently. It might have been a year ago.
Yeah, I can't remember. I feel like it was the summertime, but I can't remember if it was this summertime or a year ago summertime. It felt like they fired everybody, and their community events before COVID had gotten whacked from like a yearly meetup to these little in-person things that everybody was kind of on the fence of joining. And I believe everything has now been canceled. There's no meetups scheduled for anything for Poshmark and for eBay, correct?
I believe so. Poshmark just did their PoshFest event virtually a few months ago.
And how was that? Did you go?
Yeah, we attended. So there was the course sessions were on Zoom calls. So they would give you like links to attend these Zoom calls, and then they had their big public sessions were on YouTube Live that people could attend and watch them there. I think if you paid for a ticket, they would give you Zoom links privately. If you didn't pay for a ticket, then they would post the like the streaming links like you're doing now, so that people could attend those.
Was there any big news that came out of that?
Nothing that particularly stood out to us. No big features that we felt that we needed to address or make any changes to our software because of.
Yeah, I follow quite a few people that do both eBay and Poshmark, and yourself included. And I haven't seen anything. I saw that it was coming, and I didn't have time to go participate or whatnot. And I don't do a whole lot of Poshmark. And then I didn't see really any fallout. I didn't see any great, like, amazing things across news feeds. So I was just curious on that aspect. I have brought up my Vendoo screen to kind of give you a look feel on how it looks like. And I do mostly Amazon, as most of you guys know, but I've been using Vendoo for my cross posting for quite a while. And I'm behind on things. I'm behind on everything because I woke up to about 150 merchant fulfilled orders today. So I've been I'll be shipping all day and all night.
Congrats. That's a good problem.
Yeah. We're all having good problems here. But as a reseller in any platform you have, you're going to have items that you can't sell on your favorite one, whether that's eBay, Poshmark, or Amazon. So I have a variety of items that I love to look for or I get rid of when something comes up on Amazon. So I just did this one yesterday, and I should have done it live with you all, but anyhow, so I have this little corgi, and this was a purchase off of an OA list that I had been on. And the company cracked down and wound up doing IP claims for everything. So when you're on Amazon, sometimes getting an OA list can help boost your perspective up, get replens going, things like that. But you do every once in a while wind up with an IP claim for whatever reason. I believe this was a Bed Bath & Beyond. He got clearance down to probably $5, something like that. Anyhow, I didn't buy too many of them, but got the IP claim. So of course I usually recall my product from Amazon at that point, and I sell it on eBay, Mercari, Poshmark, wherever platform it makes the most sense. I also typically do a lot of clothing. Right now it's all toys, but a lot of clothing usually. And so I will constantly get, not constantly, I get about 10% return rate on my clothes on Amazon. Out of that 10%, most get resold back onto Amazon, but every once in a while people take the tags off or they do something funky. I've even gotten used pants back instead of my new pants with holes in them that stunk like cigarette smoke. And oh, I was livid with that one. But I'll get these items back, and if they have just had the tags removed or something, then I sell them on eBay, Poshmark, etc. So I have like FAO Schwartz I had purchased at a Kohl's discount, and then there was rumor on the boards that FAO Schwartz was coming down hard for IP claims, so I just pulled it and listed it over here. So we can walk through that one, and I can show you how easy it is. But here's my little corgi. So he's listed now on eBay, Poshmark, and Mercari. He's not really an Etsy item, and I don't think he would be good on Grailed or Depop or any other platform. And then some things like batteries I'm not going to sell over on Poshmark, but we'll walk through this one really quick because I haven't done him yet. So over here on the left, it's really easy. If I want to list him over on Poshmark, it will highlight red, and usually my descriptions are too long from eBay over to Poshmark, so I'll have to go through and just delete some.
So right under those boxes, we'll give prompts to the amount of allowed characters, and then once your title is appropriate, then the field will turn back white.
There we go.
Okay,
so I got it down, 49 out of 50 characters. And then same here. So usually I have kind of a long description or whatever. And I'll just kill that. So right here it populates, and it's kind of nice. I do notice if you go up here to this Vendoo one, you can populate most of these fields, and then it will then populate down here. But for purposes of videoing here, if you had the brand name, the tag, primary colors, we can put that this is primarily brown. Don't really put a whole lot of, that's what I love. You don't have to put like a whole lot of thought into a lot of these things. Every once in a while, though, I'll have like a crazy sweater with all sorts of colors and just put multiple colors. So anyhow, you put in whatever price you want.
You're going to have to put a category there. There you go.
We'll do kids, toys, stuffed animals, size. I'm going to put baby. I think it's for baby. No, not for baby. We'll just put custom. I hope I'm doing this right too.
Yeah, you're doing
Let me
it
know. Here's a good place where you could put a SKU if you wanted to put an SKU. I don't have any of that, but I know some eBay people will put their bin number in there or things like that. I categorize by group. So all my baby stuff is in a big baby tub, and then all of my clothes are done by color. And then right here, this is how easy it is, guys. You just click and it will do its magic, and boom, it's listed.
You can actually click the view listing down there, and they can see that the item is up on Poshmark. There you go.
There you go.
So that you can verify your item's been listed, that all your fields, everything that you wrote in is carried over correctly.
And then if you made any mistake, which I've had that happen before, then you could edit it right here.
Absolutely.
Right.
Or you can delist,
yes,
make the changes on the Vendoo form, and then press relist again.
Yes, that is right here. You could do that right there. And then it gives you the link here too if you were going to share this over on some other platform. I know some people will share their listings on YouTube or Facebook or whatnot, but that's not, I don't have that one. So you got Tradesy and Kidzen. I'm going to have to look at those two platforms too, because I'm not familiar with them. But that's how easy
they were highly requested.
Mm-hmm.
They were very highly requested. So we added those next just because we were getting so much feedback from users saying that they wanted those too.
Are they big platforms volume wise? I mean, what are the big platforms these days? Because in
So
my
the
mind,
big platforms are still eBay. Poshmark would probably be next, and maybe Mercari would be in there third. Mercari or Etsy would probably be third. Tradesy is a large platform, but it's only women's, so that's kind of like half of the inventory. And Kitizen is fairly new, but it's a growing platform. I would say Kitizen and Depop might be around the same size.
what about ThreadUp?
I'm sorry, which one?
ThreadUp. I know it's not like a people listing place, but is ThreadUp
Right.
pretty
So
big or no?
ThreadUp is big. There's a lot of sellers that like to sell with ThreadUp.
Mhm.
If the users aren't familiar, their watchers aren't familiar with ThreadUp, it's a site where you can package up your items and ship them to ThreadUp, and they'll basically on consignment sell your items for you and then send you your money back. So because that's not a shipping-based marketplace, we haven't considered it yet. We were just working on shipping-based marketplaces first, but we might get there eventually later on in the roadmap.
I was just wondering for piece of the pie. I wasn't familiar with those other 3 platforms. I just curious on what's popping up, because as the demand increases, you're going to see the supply increase as well with platforms that people want to work with. So we're going to list over on Mercari real quick. And this does not take very long either. Do you have a lot of people that use your program that have VAs? That was a question
We do. So we get quite a few messages from people that use VAs. It's very simple for a seller to pass on this information to their VA. Once you connect to your marketplace accounts, you're connected permanently. The VA doesn't have to log in or log out of anything. You can have them create drafts for you. You can do the drafts ahead of time and have them go through and post all the listings. But there's a lot of ways that people, especially the higher quantity sellers, tend to use VAs a lot just for productivity reasons. In order to post thousands of items a month, it's not really physically possible unless you have help.
Is there anything else on the site that, I'll show you let's see here. No, that's not what I wanted to show. I was going to say on this, is there anything else you wanted me to?
So sure, we can go through the inventory page really quickly. There's a few features on there, but there's a search bar there that helps you search through your items pretty quickly by keyword. You can just start typing something in and it'll narrow the items down for you. You can also filter your items by marketplace. So as you see, there's the marketplace logos in that top bar. You can click on any of those and it'll filter by items that are only listed on those. You can actually filter listed or not listed. You can click multiple of those at the same time if you want. And then there's also a sort by drop-down list that you can sort your items in chronological order. You can sort in alphabetical order. You can sort there's a few different ways that you can view your inventory. And then if you look right below that box, you'll see where it says row view. You can change it to grid view if you'd like to view your inventory in grid view as well.
Nice.
So those are some different features we have on the inventory page. We also have the ability to duplicate an item. So if you have one item, you've sold it, and you want to sell another one just like it, you can duplicate an item. Or if you like your description that you use for that one and the information's already filled in, you can duplicate that and then make the changes as well. And then a new feature that we just added earlier this week is we now have a multi-delete feature. So if you want to delete an item, you can click that and then you can select up to 100 items and delete those all at the same time.
Oh, wow. Yeah. If you're like cleaning a house or doing something major, that could come in handy.
I left one out. So there's also some columns under there, right under that white bar that you can see draft, active, and sold. Any item, you can kind of filter your items by the progress of them also. So if you want to just only work through your draft items, any items that aren't currently listed on a marketplace will be in the drafts folder. Any items that are listed on marketplaces will be in the active, and then anything that's sold obviously will be in sold.
I went through and I deleted all my solds recently, so it does not confuse me when I do inventory and I get things situated. I clean up and I've deleted all my solds.
What's good about it is that it's very visual, so you can just see where all your listings are. And if, for example, you have something on eBay, but it's not on Poshmark and you want to have it there, it's very visual, so you can easily organize everything in Vendoo.
Yes.
Absolutely. If you I was going to show you a few things also on the settings page if you have another second.
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course.
So once you open up the settings, which is the that screw icon right there. So here's a few things you can do in your account profile. You can change your email address. You can do a few things there. We also have a tab that says Marketplace Connections. On that tab, that shows you all of the accounts that you're logged into. So let's say, for example, you have 2 eBay closets or 2 Poshmark stores. You can easily just log out and then sign in with the username and pet. So for eBay, Etsy, and Poshmark, you can log in and log out of those easily. I'm sorry, pardon me. For eBay and Etsy, you can log in and log out of those easily. And to any marketplace account that you want to just type the credentials for. For Poshmark, Mercari, Grail, Depop, Tradesy, and Citizen, any account that you're signed into in Google Chrome will automatically connect here.
Oh, okay.
So
Nice.
let's say you want to change to a different Poshmark closet. You just open Poshmark in a new tab. You sign out of the one that you're signed into. You sign into the other one, and you come back to Vendoo and refresh, and it'll connect to whatever account that you're currently logged into.
Okay. So if you have multi accounts, because
Exactly.
I do have multiple accounts too, so that's good to know.
And your Vendoo inventory would still be the same. Your inventory page would be the same there, but you're just connected to a different account at that point.
Ah, okay. Okay, so if I have, let's just say I have 2 eBay shops, and one's kind of a mess of things, and then the other one is all vintage pottery or something. You would see all of your listings on the main page, but whatever store you're connected to, that's what you're going to link up to.
Correct. So all the listings you've created in Vendoo, all of your items will still be there in your inventory page. If you want to post an item, it's now going to post to this new closet that you've connected to, not the previous one. So we've seen users that might have 2 eBay stores and they connect to one eBay store, import all their items, and then connect to the other one and then list all of them so that they can get all their items from one account to another account. But there's people that use those features lots of different ways.
Neat. Yeah. No, that's definitely good to know. Very good to know. Okay, let me see here if we've hit everything and looked everything. If you guys are watching right now and live, please go ahead and ask any questions you have in the chat. If you're watching this on a replay, you can go ahead and have your questions down below, and either I will get them answered or I will get Josh here to get them to answered as well.
Absolutely. We'll keep an eye on the comments and just follow up every couple of days and answer any questions that people leave below.
Yep. And then what is on the storefront for Vendoo, both for you guys for 2021?
So without giving too much away, we are rolling out more marketplaces. So we haven't announced yet what those will be, but we have a few marketplaces that we're currently working on. I know our users will be excited to hear about those. And then we also have some features that are coming early in 2021 in the way of data and analytics. So you'll be able to do a lot more with your sales data, which is another area of the reselling experience that we don't think any other softwares are covering.
No, that would be amazing, because I have to tell you, one of my main complaints with eBay and a lot of other people similar is it's very hard to tell your end of the day how much you made. You know, you buy a shirt for $2 at Value Village and you sold it for $15.99. What went into your pocket?
Especially because eBay invoices you at the end of the month, as opposed to taking out their fees, as opposed to taking out their fees per listing at the time of the sale, which can get confusing when you're doing your accounting. So we're going to build some features that are just making a little easier to figure out your gross profit and your net profit and your sales and how much you spend on items. And so we'll make it a little easier for you to visually see your finances on our software.
That would be amazing, and I know it's much needed. I don't know if it's the same problem over on Poshmark or Mercari or whatnot. I feel like they're a little bit more simple and straightforward. And I don't know why eBay likes to complicate anything that should be simple.
Well, yeah, they're the big guys. They were here first, so I think they have the most in-depth selling experience. They've thought about every angle of the reseller experience, and they figured out ways to create features for every possible scenario. So they have so many, even on their listing form, they have so many optional fields and other things you can fill in. Whereas the other marketplaces like Poshmark or Mercari have made it pretty simple for people to list mainly just from their phone and make listings quickly. So it's they're targeting a slightly different audience. eBay is, in order to sell on eBay, you have to be a little bit more in tune with the fine details of each item and what you're doing individually per item, whereas you can kind of passively sell on some of those other sites without having to put too much work into organizing the actual business aspect of it.
Well, I just wish eBay would, their analytics on your sales data and whatnot is horrible at best. I mean, I have promoted listings. I don't know if you guys run promoted listings, but I started to after going to eBay Open and listening to some of the other sellers, and they said, you know, they run at least 1 to 8% promoted listings. So I started doing that. I don't know if it really is helping me or not, and then trying to figure out how much eBay. I think it was just another way to eBay to get some more fees out of me. And then it's hard to tell at the end of the day what my take home is and the traffic and everything like that. Their system is not as intuitive as some of the other ones. I think that's why Poshmark and Mercari have gained a lot of traffic, is because of the ease of use for the
user-friendly, much more user-friendly.
Yeah, user-friendly. My mom does antiques. She's run an antique store since I was a little kid. And she says, you know, she's tried to do eBay once or twice and it's so complicated. She was like, I just can't do it. I don't know how to do it. Yeah. So some of these other ones are great. I did want to bring up to everybody that if you are following Vendoo on Instagram, which you ought to be, they often have giveaways. So definitely pay attention to that. Are you guys going to do a giveaway in December? Can you tell me that one?
So we don't have a giveaway for December, but what we're doing currently now at the moment is we're doing a holiday clothing donation drive. So we're donating clothing to the homeless in the Washington, D.C. area. So we're accepting clothing now from any of our users. Anybody that's watching this that wants to donate, they can send us a direct message and we'll give you information on how to donate. And then also there's 2 charities in Colombia that Alejandra could tell you about briefly that we're also going to be donating clothing to there. So we're working on that campaign now for the holidays.
Yeah, so there are 2 homes here. I'm from a place called Manizales. It's a very small town, and there are 2 houses. So one of them is for children undergoing treatment for something that they're currently suffering. So this house pays for everything for them and for their families. So we're looking to donate some gifts for them, which is gonna light up their Christmas, and it's going to be awesome for them. And then the other house that we're going to donate to is a foundation for elderly who don't have a family. They need special care, so they all live there. And also these 2 houses sell used clothing, and with all the money they make with the used clothing, they sustain these 2 houses. So they're very beautiful causes. We'll be sharing some photos in the next few weeks and after we do this activity close to Christmas.
Oh, I absolutely love this. And the one in DC is going to the homeless?
So we're literally just going to go find people that are outside in the cold, and we're going to give them coats, we're going to give them shoes, we're going to give them socks, we're going to give them kits with toothbrushes, toothpaste, hand sanitizer, masks, things like that. And we'll just go around to homeless people and give those away. So anything that people donate to us, we're going to kind of sort by sizes, so we can know the larges, the extra larges. And then as we find people, we'll be handing those out. And then as for Alejandra, we're sending the clothing to her, and she'll divide them up by sizes for the elderly and also for those children.
Oh, that is really good. I definitely want to participate in something, so I'll have to see how I do that. Is it as simple as just mailing you a box of stuff?
Absolutely. Or? So you can send us a message with your return address, and we'll send you a prepaid shipping label, and you just pack it up and drop it in the mail.
Oh, perfect. I know that, was it Goodwill that was accepting? There was somebody else that was accepting boxes, and you just had to put a label on it. And I
believe so, yeah. Or Salvation Army, maybe. I'm not sure.
It was somebody. I can't remember what it was. Are you also taking, how Hi, Callie Picker. Are you also taking the soaps and the toothpastes and stuff?
If people want to submit those also, they can, but we were just going to purchase those and put them into the gift bags.
Oh, okay. Well, and I'm sure there's a lot of local things going on too. I have a bit of a story. When we were in Value Village one time, my daughter saw somebody that went into the restroom and changed their clothes and threw their old clothes away. And my daughter's like, he's stealing stuff, because, you know, we don't like people that steal stuff. But I had to explain to her that sometimes you just have to let things go, and some people need things way more than
Absolutely.
you do.
Yeah.
And homelessness has been a huge problem in our neck of the woods, and the budget just got released yesterday for Seattle area, and they're going to put a lot of money towards the homeless problems here. We do have, another side story. We have a Red Lion Inn that's near my house, and my parents and family and whatnot have always James, good evening, James. My parents have always stayed at this Red Lion Inn, but with COVID, they are offering the hotels incentives to take on the homeless. So it gets them off the streets, and it gets COVID a little bit more under control, or, at least the idea is so that it's not spreading in the homeless camps. And anyhow, the homeless there, for some reason, there seems to be a popularity for them barricading into the rooms and starting the hotel on fire. And I think this week it's the third one. And so I'm not sure why, but it's definitely something that needs to be addressed. Not necessarily homeless, but reasons for being homeless. And I definitely want to participate in any charity that is helping with that, because
Absolutely.
a lot of them are military. So it just, I have a lot of military in my family, so it hits home for sure.
Definitely.
Okay, let's see here. If there was anything else anybody wants to ask, but I think I've shown everything, unless if there's something else you want to hit up on your website and whatnot. I have the
Well, I just wanted to remind everyone to, if anybody's interested in creating an account or signing up, they should use your link, the link that's right below this video. They can try out the free plan first, test out all of the features that we have. And then if they subscribe later to a paid subscription, you would get the credit, because this is your YouTube channel. These are all your viewers. So I think those people should definitely use your link to make sure that you get credited for those signups.
Yeah.
Oh, so on your FAQ site, it says, can I use Vendoo on my mobile device? Are you guys on the mobile device?
So in 2021, I should have mentioned that earlier also, we'll be developing a better version of the software that's compatible with mobile. But at the moment, the only two marketplaces that you can list onto are eBay and Etsy on mobile. But you can access your account and create your drafts. So I take a lot of photos on my phone, and I just I upload my photos and create the drafts through my phone, and then I finish the listings later on from my computer.
Oh, I am so doing that, because I have a couple people that are working for me now. And one of the things I hate is doing pictures, but I could have them just take the phone and do the pictures.
Exactly. So it's very easy. You can just type in vendoo.co in your web browser. Just open your whatever web browser you use on your phone or your iPad or any device that you want to use. You can create your drafts that way, and you can also list onto eBay and Etsy.
Okay, so it's under a browser, not like an app.
It's not an app. You would have to just go on your mobile browser.
Perfect, but it's formatted so that you can kind of see it, unlike other places that sometimes.
Right, we have a mobile view, so it'll be a mobile view of our current software.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, that is very good. That is excellent. Okay, and do you have any predictions for next year, or goals, or anticipations? I am trying to get to ASD in March. I don't know if it's gonna happen. I think conventions may still be out of the books for another 6 months. But what about you guys?
Yeah, I'm not sure when we'll be allowed to freely travel, but when we do, or when we are allowed to travel, we want to start coming to different cities and doing focus groups, pop-up events, and just interact a little bit more with the community, just because this year we've kind of all been stuck inside. But what we found early on when we were building this company is that we got the most valuable information and we progressed the fastest when we were moving around and actually talking to people, and just getting the energy of people and speaking to them and building relationships throughout the community, because the reseller community is really close knit, and people like to share information with each other. They like to help each other out. And we want to be able to tap back into that a little bit more, because that's something that we really feel is one of the strong suits of our company, is being involved in the community and active with other resellers. So this is exactly why we're on this call now with you, because we want to participate and not just take from this community, but also just be involved in it and help out as much as we can.
All right. And do you have any bolos to look out for? Is there any trends you see happening in the reselling?
I think reselling is going to be a lot more commonplace, just because I think I've been selling for a long time. I've been selling for about 15 years or so. And I kind of remember when reselling was a little taboo, or going to a thrift store. You were very secretive about going to thrift stores, and you didn't really want people to know that you found this item for $5, but you're selling it for 40. So now I think because this information is so readily available, a lot of people that never considered reselling before are going to start flooding into this industry at an alarming rate. And I think we're just glad that we were able to position ourselves at the time to help facilitate some of those people from part-time sellers and grow into full businesses. So that's mainly our focus.
It used to be very taboo, and I can remember just people not like, ooh, I don't want anything from that's been used before. It was very, very taboo. And I think there's been a huge comeback with not only clothing, but vintage as well. I've seen a lot of vintage items gain some popularity. I was at the store last night getting holiday bolos for Amazon, and this lady was looking at all of the ornaments, and she's like, this is all shatterproof. Why don't they sell glass? Who sells glass ornaments anymore? And I'm like, nobody. You need to go to an antique store for that.
So somebody with an eBay store or an Etsy store is probably doing really well with glass ornaments, just because the supply is been drained.
Yeah,
they're not readily available. So you never know.
And I couldn't think of anybody that sells real glass ornaments anymore. I said maybe Nordstrom's or Macy's, but I don't even know if you can get into a Nordstrom's or Macy's to get them these days. Depends on where you're at. I think some of our malls are open, but I haven't been down that way. And we'll see the fallout from who stays in business and who doesn't stay in business. I've been watching. I don't think I've heard any big names go down recently. Has anybody declared bankruptcy in the last 2 weeks?
In the last 2 weeks, no, I'm not sure. But during these past few months of this year, there's a lot of companies that we were very familiar with that I was surprised to hear were kind of either bankrupt or going under.
Yeah.
I think I even heard J. Crew's name in there. I'm not sure if that's if they've been able to recover or not, but I heard J. Crew file for bankruptcy, a few other companies. So it's going to be interesting to see who's still standing next year or whenever things kind of move back to normal.
My mother was a little upset that a lot of Lane Bryant's closed down. I don't know if they completely went under or not. And then Lucky Brand, I think, is going to be pretty. You're going to see a lot of that uptick in eBay Poshmark for Lucky Brand. Some people really love their products. I've tried a couple of them. I was not too thrilled with it.
Yeah, that kind of reminded me. Another thing that we've seen recently is there's a lot of bigger brands that are getting into the vintage market as well. So like Levi's or Gucci or brands like that have been looking for their vintage products, their vintage bags or their vintage denim or things like that. And they've been repurposing those and selling them again as capsule collections and things like that. So even some of the larger companies are getting into the reselling, the secondhand clothing market as well, which is a good indication that the market's growing.
That is interesting. And I have a couple of Facebook feeds that talk about eBay mostly stuff, and they're always talking about like how to tell if it's fake or not fake. And we have that problem over on Amazon too. You know, like I'm going to come up with fake corgis in my spare time, please. But fakes are kind of a problem, and that's one thing that ThreadUp does is look for the fakes. And then eBay launched their own I can't remember what the program's called, but where they go and they look at your product to see if it's fake
like
or
an
not.
authenticity program. But a lot of the marketplaces, so Tradesy, because they're a designer women's platform, they have an authenticity guarantee. Just because the type of items that they sell are fairly expensive items, and you don't want to spend a few $1,000s for a bag or something on their site and then it be counterfeit. So they have, I guess, employees that work for their company that just authenticate every listing that goes up on their platform. And Grail does the same thing. So fakes are definitely, especially for the casual consumer that might not be extremely well versed in how to tell one from the other. It's really easy to get scammed or duped if you're buying something online. So it's good that these marketplaces are starting to include those authenticity checks in their protocol for their marketplaces, because I'm sure they were getting a lot of claims and complaints and things for years.
Now, are they just looking at your pictures?
They look at your pictures, but I think they have experts from across the industry that know how to identify. Well, they encourage you to post every serial number and all the labels and tags and things like that they would be able to use to I guess verify the authenticity. So they have a few pictures that are like required, that you have to show a picture of this and a picture of this and a picture of that.
Okay. Well, that sounds like a great solution for a long time problem. I remember a long time ago, I purchased some Dooney and Burke purses at a garage sale. And of course they tell me it's real. And then I posted them on eBay, and somebody nicely messaged me, and she was like, that's a fake. So I was like, dang it. And I got took for $5 at the garage sale. But I had that problem with Wish. Another reason why Wish is not my favorite company I don't think I would invest in them. But I had some makeup that I ordered, and it was fake makeup. And I had to watch a YouTube video on how to tell if it's fake or not. And they were very specific. Look here, look there. But your average consumer is not going to know that.
Yeah, that's even a crazy concept of fake makeup. Like the fact that people have gone that far to.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess there's probably a huge industry for it, I'm sure.
Some of the higher end makeups, and it was one of those that covers tattoos. So it's used a lot for people that work in whatever that they need to cover up their tattoos.
Right.
And the makeup itself, Wish is selling it for $2 and it really sells for $30. So there's a big margin there.
Yeah.
But going through all the hassle to make a fake makeup, I was kind of surprised too. You did an awful lot of work to make something fake. At this point, why don't you just brand it yourself and make a real product?
You would think, but I guess it's the name recognition that makes them their sales, I believe.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, I have a brand new Kate Spade purse. Well, it's not brand new anymore, but I got a nice Kate Spade purse off of eBay last Christmas for my Christmas present for my mom. And I'm worried because I've sprayed it with so much sanitizer over the last 9 months that I don't know how purses hold up to massive amounts of sanitizer these days. But we've got all sorts of new problems this year. Definitely new problems. Is there any problems that stand out for Vendoo that have come up with COVID this year?
I think we were able to take it in stride because we already have a remote team. We're used to our founders and our employees being in different locations. So we have our meeting schedules. Everybody knows what meetings they're on every morning. We have a very organized calendar. So we were able to conduct business as usual this year without too much hindrance or anything. But there was a few scary moments throughout the year where, like I said earlier, where people didn't know if they'd be able to find any more inventory. So a lot of people were canceling out of panic. Also, there was some times this year where we thought something might happen with the postal service. So we didn't know if that would affect people shipping their items or how that would affect just sales businesses in general. But I think we've made it through most of those scary points, and we're kind of anxious to see what 2021 has to offer and when we can kind of go back to moving around as usual.
The donation places that I've noticed, and I don't go there a whole lot in the last 9 months, but they have had long drop-off lines, shortened times where they're taking things. They've been putting things in big bins and letting them sit for a day or two to make sure that any viruses get killed. I've seen them spraying things down with stuff. So it was a big problem for a couple of months there, but I think maybe it's turned turned the corner on they've got their processes down. You know, they know how to sanitize things and how to put it out. And people in the stores are starting to behave, you know, staying away from each other and wearing your face mask, wearing it correctly. So maybe we'll be able to get some good stuff from there. Last question. So unless if anybody else has any other questions in the comments, this will be my last question. Have you noticed any problems with the thrift stores going more online? Has this year changed that? Because I know they were starting to do more and more online, and people were complaining about it because they take the good stuff and put it online.
Right. So I don't think that's been much of a problem, but Goodwill did try to introduce that for a while. I'm not sure how successful they were with it, but I was actually discussing this with someone recently, but it was kind of like they were just taking the best items in their store, like you said, and pricing them up. So, shopping from Goodwill online kind of defeats the purpose of going to a thrift store and finding items for cheaper prices because they've already isolated the valuable items and they're charging what they're worth. You know what I mean? So it kind of kills the profit margin for a reseller. And I don't think that was the way that we wanted to source our items as resellers. So I'm not sure if they second guess that model or if they're just going to keep working with it. But we haven't seen too much of an issue with it because stores did open back up a few months ago and people were able to get back inside and actually find the inventory themselves.
I noticed with the Amazon side, books, Goodwill cherry picking all the good books was just, I mean, it really hurt some people. But then same with high-end clothes, they started their little boutiques in the market. And I was I looked at their online store a couple of times and it was a joke. I was like, wait a minute, you're charging what? You get this stuff for free and you're now trying to charge a premium price.
Yeah.
For what?
I guess it comes with the territory, right? Because we're doing it. We're doing it too. So you have to expect that at some point they would take notice and figure we're leaving some money on the table here. So you kind of just have to roll with the punches and still find whatever you can find.
Yep. Do you shop at the bins?
I do shop at the bins, not as often as I used to. Just because, so everybody kind of has their preferences on how they like to source. I shop at the bins occasionally, but I felt like I was buying a lot of quantity, but I wasn't buying as much quality. So in times that I need quantity, I definitely shop at the bins just because you can buy a lot in bulk for such a cheaper price. When I'm looking for quality items or something specific or certain nice things, I kind of like to go pick each one of them off the rack hand by hand, or even buy in bulk from friends or family or people that I might know, things that they're clearing out of their closets personally. A lot of them contact me and I might buy wholesale from them. So I try to diversify the ways that I source, but the bins is definitely a good option. I know a lot of people source at the bins mainly just because you can keep your inventory costs so low and still find good items. It's just a little bit time consuming for me because I do reselling now in my very spare time and run Vendoo most of the time. You know what I mean? So at the bins, you kind of have to sit there, wait for the next rotation of bins to come out. And that might take an hour and then you got to dig through those. And I didn't have the time to devote to the bins. So I just go there occasionally, maybe once a month or so.
I've seen a lot of people go to big bulk liquidation pallets. Have you started that?
I want to get into liquidation pallets. I literally just don't have the time right now to dig through all of it because I don't have any employees or any VAs or anything. I was just before we started Vendoo, I was running my business on my own. I actually use Vendoo for my own items. So that makes the process a lot easier for me to sell part-time and still kind of get some good items out there and keep my closets pretty full. But I haven't gotten into the big pallets yet, but maybe eventually I will. Vendoo's the focus at the moment, so I haven't really been pouring that much time and energy into the reselling business, but it's something that I've always wanted to get into.
Alejandra, do you do any reselling?
Not currently. I mean, I have been wanting to, and as I mentioned at the beginning, it's not very strong in Colombia. I do see it get stronger. Like when I'm on Instagram, I see a lot of new accounts that do reselling. So I do want to get into it. I love the idea. I love the idea of, being part of the community, having a business around it. So I will definitely give it a try. And now that I'm working with Vendoo, I'm becoming, I'm just getting to know the industry and I'm learning a lot, especially from Josh. So it helps a lot.
Well, I want to thank you too for coming on and talking with me today and all of my my questions that I've had for people. It's nice to get with other resellers every once in a while, because I have felt even more isolated than normal. Reselling is kind of an isolating business in itself. And then with the pandemic, I feel like I don't go out nearly as much as I used to. And we've had no get-togethers at all forever. So it's been nice to sit and chat with you guys. Once again, everybody, if you are interested in their website, I have all of the links down below in the description. Feel free to check them out. If you are going to sign up, you can use my affiliate link. Go ahead and give this channel a thumbs up if you guys like what you're hearing, and feel free to subscribe if you want to do that. Make sure you are following them on Instagram. They post some awesome stuff. I love watching their giveaways, and I'm definitely going to look at this donation thing as well. If you are interested in how things work, they have some great videos up on their YouTube channel. How to sell on Depop. You know, if something catches your interest here, they have a video about it. So if you want to expand your market, and that's the thing that really drew me in, is because I already have the stuff for sale on eBay. You may as well throw it up on other platforms and get more eyes on your product.
Yep.
And then that is it. So all of those are down below in the description to sign up. Thank you guys again for joining me. And I'm going to go ahead and sign off the broadcast. That doesn't mean that you have to shut your screen down. I don't know if I've had a few people that are like, okay, close out at all at once.
This was great, though. Thank you for having us. We really appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
And thank you, everybody in the chat that joined.